Fabulous. All right. Well, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Michelle Hill. Michelle, as I said earlier, was introduced to me by Paul. Well, in fact, Michelle introduced herself after I had a conversation with Paul, and we had a good conversation. I really like what she does in the AI space and with the model that she's got and with what she's going to talk about tonight. So I selfishly just wanted to have a session with her just myself, but I thought, well, why not bring Michelle on here for all of us to learn from as well too. So she is going to be talking about that book and using some of the AI tools to really help you with your customer journeys in a broader sense as well too. So Michelle's come from a corporate background. She's been in there for years and years. She escaped that and she works with small business, small and medium businesses now. When she's not doing that, she's doing things like climbing Mount Everest and some of these mountains around the world.
Not quite.
I don't think it was Mount Everest, but I just like to think that it was. But she climbs mountains and goes into the bush and forest and things like that. So she's got a very healthy outlook on life too. So that's not all about tech. It's actually about having some sort of balance as well too. So let's put your hands together and welcome to the stage, Michelle Hill.
Thank you very much. So it's sort of like after an introduction like that, it's like, where can I go? So I hope you all take something away today of value and it really helps you. I'm just going to grab some slides and get us started. Now, I'm not a formal type person, so at any point during the conversation we have tonight, if you want to ask me any questions or if anything is unclear, please let me know. Now, just as an aside, I've created tonight's slides in Gamma. I'm still a novice at putting these things together, but I thought, well, everyone was saying try this instead of Canva, so this is what I've done. So as Nick has said, tonight is all about the ideas that are contained in the book Hooked. And what we've titled tonight is How to Design Repeat Customer Behaviour with AI. So what we're going to do is we're going to learn a little bit about triggers, actions, rewards, and investment by a client. And then we're going to use the information that you put into your conversation with your large language model so you can create your own step-by-step hook cycle, which is specifically tailored to what you do. Now, the way I normally run my workshops is you get to listen to me for a little bit. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the 6 thinking lenses of AI, which is kind of where the AI journey is all going to take us. And feel free to disagree with me if you don't like what I say. And then we're going to get into the action class part of the workshop. So in the first part, I will give you a learn prompt. And that when you run that, that's going to create an essay for you around about 1,000 words. So it'll give you a summary and an introduction to the information in the book for those of you who haven't read it before. And then after we've done that, then we're going to do the apply section. So that will be another prompt that I will give you. And then that is a step-by-step process where you'll be asked a series of questions to really personalize what you're doing. And then at the end, ChatGPT or whatever platform you're using is going to create a nice hook cycle for you and make some suggestions about what you can do to make this a little bit better. And this is part of a habit-forming design. So the idea is that you're wanting to encourage repeat customer behavior. And for those of you who only have one product, think about it as if you're encouraging repeat customer behavior, that could then take the form of referrals or anything like that. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Michelle Hill, and I'm an AI transformation expert and creator of the AI Edge, which is my program. So I help business owners and leaders outthink their competition by making AI-powered decisions faster and smarter. And the way I do that is I help you to learn and understand how to actually interact and use large language models to become more than just a content creation or a tool that you use to get answers, but to really build them up and create your own work buddy. And now with the latest advances on ChatGPT with memory, where it remembers across chats as well as what you have done in the past, this is becoming easier to actually have somebody, because you don't have to start from scratch all the time. You can just start talking to it and it remembers what you were talking about yesterday and the day before, which when you think about it could become a little bit scary as well. So I did mention talking about the 6 thinking lenses. So the way that I look at things and describe things, and I'm sorry if this is a little bit blurry. I didn't realize when I blew it up that it wasn't as crystal clear as what I wanted. But the first thing we're looking at is the 5 stages of AI development. So chatbots was when ChatGPT was first released, and even now with the 4.0 model, that's still considered a chatbot model. And then last year we had reasoning models released. That's your O3 and O4 models, which take longer to actually answer you and think about things. And now agents are starting to be released. That's a bit of a spotty area so far. Some work quite well, like deep research that's on ChatGPT and most of the other models. But some of the other agents that I've heard about don't work quite so well. And there's a lot to figure out in terms of if you're going to have an agent that will go off and actually purchase things for you, you have to know that it's secure and it's not going to go crazy. But that's where we are in terms of what's been released and, in terms of the tools that are currently available. But in my experience, most of the adoption is still back at the chatbot stage, and people are still getting to learn and understand and figure out how they can get the best out of it. And, people are using reasoning models, but in terms of business, the large scale adoption is still at the chatbot level. Then we look at the 5 levels of knowledge work. So when you're going to create something, you come up usually with a strategic plan or objectives, and you break that down into projects. Then that gets broken down into deliverables and tasks and actions. But in the real world, what often happens is we get pretty good at doing this part up here and breaking it down into projects. But often people stumble when they want to try and break things down into, well, what do I need to do this quarter and what do I actually need to do this week? Right down to what am I working on today, which is still driving me towards my goals. But with the use of AI, getting from a high level objective right down to very detailed action is actually quite quick and easy, which means that the implementation is easier as well. And then we look at the 5 orders of time magnitude, and I'm going to relate this back to chatbots and reasoning. Because when we're creating something of value, I'm talking about knowledge work. So when you sit at the computer and you create something, that's classed as knowledge work. And as a human, sometimes things we do take weeks or days or hours or minutes, or it's very quick. And then when we're using ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, I'm just going to say AI for the sake of ease. Otherwise, I'll be stumbling over these names all night. With the chatbot, normally that will only run for a couple of seconds. It quickly spits out an answer for you. With a reasoning model, sometimes it can go for 1, maybe 2 minutes. I had one yesterday that ran for 2.5 minutes, and I thought I'd given it the wrong prompt or something like that. Then when you look at things like deep research, which is an agent, that will go off and work by itself for anything from 10 to about 30 minutes. And then as we get more into agents and then innovators and organizations, we will have chat GPTs or AI agents or bots or innovators going off and working for days and weeks at a time without any human intervention. And that's where you start to see the idea of these, I don't know if you've seen it in the social media, of the the billion-dollar company that's run by one or two people and hundreds of AI agents off doing everything that all the other people would normally do. And then I wanted to just quickly touch on the idea of the information factory stack, where we start off with humans and then we add the capability of the large language models on top. And then we're using workflows with the large language models to produce our knowledge work. And then it becomes about organizing the data. And then ultimately it's the tools that we're using. 5 stages of technology diffusion. So, and this is quite, this isn't just related to AI. This is any type of technology where you have knowledge, persuasion, decision, implementation, and then confirmation. And lastly, I just wanted to run through some thoughts about the stages of AI acceptance, because right at the very beginning, there was a lot of indifference and quite a lot of fear, and there's still quite a lot of fear around job loss and things like that. Then we get to letting go and to confidence, and then to agency, where you're really confident about what you're doing. But then each time we go through a major advance, like when we go from reasoning to agents that are fully integrated, don't be surprised if, you know, if you're up here at this level, but then, you know, a new development comes out and then you drop back a little bit because you don't know how to use that particular tool or platform or advancement. But that's enough about generic AI for tonight, because I don't want everyone to fall asleep. So as I said, with an AI action class, we're going to learn something, we're going to apply something, and then I'm going to get you to share what you've created or what your thoughts are after tonight's class, and what your biggest insight is, or what you might be planning to implement tomorrow or this week or next week.
Just
But
a question there from Steve.
sorry, yeah, because I'm sorry, I'm not keeping track of the,
That's right. I've got it here. So.
Steve?
Just a very quick question, Michelle.
Yes.
A colleague of mine for ChatGPT, a colleague of mine has encouraged me to set up personas on ChatGPT. So she's using it as like employees to put different lenses over things that she might miss.
Yep.
What are your thoughts around that?
Everything that's going to improve your output is a good idea. And the more context that you give, the better your output. So by giving it a persona, you're helping to give it context in terms of draw on the knowledge of this person, or as this person, this is the type of thing that you should be able to do. For example, if you were solving a problem, you could say to it, well, what do you think Elon Musk might do in this situation? Or what do you think Winston Churchill might have done in this situation? And that's like assigning it a persona as well. But it is all about context.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Good. So why hooked and why now? So what we're going to look at is this framework that Nick mentioned before, where there's a trigger. So it's either an external or an internal cue to action, and then the action happens. So simple behavior in anticipation of a reward. And then there's a variable reward, so satisfying a need while maintaining interest. And then what's termed investment in, and this is what the user puts in value for their future benefit. Now, if that doesn't make a lot of sense to you yet, just hang on to that for the moment, and we will get you some more information very soon. So by the end of tonight's session, what I'd like you to walk away with is a working understanding of the hook model, an AI-generated strategy and how you can apply that to your business, and a customer experience designed for repeat behavior, and a clear action that, as I said, you could do tomorrow. So what we're going to do now is I am just going to go to the chat. Now, in the chat, I've just put a link to a document, and I'm just going to go over to this document. So this is your first prompt. So what I would like in a moment, I'll run this through first and I'll show you. And then what I'm going to get you to do is copy this part here and put it into your large language model. And in this part here, it depends, like you can just literally put your role and your company name, or you can put more detail if you want. And for me, because I use my ChatGPT a lot, I don't have to put a lot of context in because it knows me and it knows who I am. So what you're going to do is grab that prompt and just copy it. And then I'm going to go over to ChatGPT. And this is my cheat bit. I always run it before the workshop in case ChatGPT decides not to work during the workshop. But I'm going to start a new chat and I'm going to put the prompt in. And I'll just put my role as owner at Discover Your Edge. Now I'm just going to put that amount of context in so that you know you can just put a little bit in. So when you press go on that, what you're going to get is 1,000-word summary of the main concepts of the book. And then we're going to spend a few minutes reading through so that you understand what the book is all about. So as you can see, it's doing mine in not quite an essay, but lots of information. And my internet or my chat is running fairly slow tonight. So we'll gradually get all the way through. Now, is that clear for everyone? Copy the prompt in, run the prompt, and then read what you've got. Probably take, I was going to say, Nick, will probably take 4 or 5 minutes for this, for people to run the prompt and read through it as well. I'm just waiting for it to get to the end so I can show you how much you'll get out. It's sort of like I probably could have read it as fast as it's printing it for me tonight. Now, is everyone okay with grabbing that prompt from my Google Drive? Let me know if you're having any problems. So as you can see, this is all tailored for me and it's talking about my products. So if you put a little bit of information in there about yourself, you'll get a really good essay out. Okay. Now I have my chat set up so that at the end of every response it gives me a suggestion of how I could take this idea further. And it also tells me that any bias that is included in the response. So that's just part of the personalization that I've done on my chat myself. Now, if you don't feel like reading and you're on ChatGPT, you can press this little symbol down here where it says read aloud.
Hooked. Building the behavioral flywheel for your business. A practical summary for Michelle at Discover Your Edge. Imagine you're building a behavior.
So there you go. So I'm going to stop talking now. And how about, it's 6:48 on my computer. How about we give 4 minutes and we come back at 6:52. And in the meantime, if anyone has any questions, please let me know. You just have to unmute yourself and let me know because I can't see everybody when I'm sharing screen. I haven't figured that out yet.
There's a
I could
question.
open it up.
Yeah, there's a question there. I
Yep.
don't currently have ChatGPT. Is it still free to trial? And the answer is yes. So AJ, just you can go and grab that. Let me see if I can go and grab the link to it.
Yeah. I think with the free version, you'll probably have enough to run these prompts, so it should be okay.
I've got a quick question. Why are they talking in your voice in a male voice?
Well, that's just the voice I've chosen on my chat. You can go in the back and you can choose. I just grabbed a random one. But
do you prefer a male voice?
I've never really thought about it, to be honest. Shall we go in and see if there's any female voices?
Well, I would say that there's a couple.
Okay, let me have a look.
Why would you choose a male voice if you're not male?
Does it matter?
Does it matter?
Yeah.
That's a question. Does it matter?
It doesn't matter to me, but it may matter to other people.
Why would you choose a male voice for your voice?
It's not meant to be my voice. It's ChatGPT reading to me.
I thought this is your work.
No, sorry. I was just
This is
showing
not
you.
your work.
Yeah. So
This is not your work.
This is the output.
Oh, this is not your work. Okay,
No.
so if this is
Yeah.
not your work, then we'll talk about it later.
Okay. Sorry, I misunderstood your question.
Oh, it's a normal question. Why are you choosing a male voice for your voice? I'm listening to a female and then it came through as male.
But it's not me. I was demonstrating to you that you
Don't
can
know. I don't know. Don't know
out.
what you're demonstrating. I'm not sure. But you let us listen to something. Anyway, whatever.
No, well,
Whatever.
actually, what I was trying to do, Linda, was show you a feature on
It's okay. We can
ChatGPT.
talk about it later. I'm not trying to interrupt the disruption, but whatever.
Okay.
It didn't make sense. You're talking to us in a female voice and then a male voice came through, but that's okay. Whatever you want to do.
Well, my ChatGPT is Matthew, so that's why he took.
Matthew might be a female. I don't know. I'm just trying to work it out. It didn't make sense. Anyway,
Okay. All right. So how is everyone going? Have you
Daisy?
read through the summary yet? Okay, so now I want to go back to. All right. So now I've let me go back here. Okay. Am I still sharing my slides with you?
You are, yep.
Good. Because I opened up the screen to see everyone's faces and then I couldn't find my slides.
No, I can see the slide.
Oh dear. So yeah, let me just change that view back, not to full screen, and escape. Okay, I'm just having a wander around learning about Zoom. So I'm assuming that everybody is ready to move on to the second prompt now. I'm not hearing any dissension, so I'm going to go back to the slide. So the first one was the overview. Now, the second one is going to ask you a whole series of questions and ask you to put some context in and talk about your product and what you're currently doing and what you might want to do. And when you're working through this, just remember that there's no right or wrong. And if it generates something that you don't like, just tell it, I don't like that. Could you change this? Could you do this? Could you do that? So what we're going to do now is we're going to go over here, and the apply prompt starts here with you are a product design and behavioral expert, and it goes for a couple of pages. So make sure you copy the whole thing all the way through. So I'm just going to copy that. And then I'm going back to ChatGPT and I'm going to paste that into the same chat. Now, you'll notice that with this one, we're not actually putting any context into the prompt, because as you work through, what is going to happen is at each step, it will ask you some questions. So the first step is defining the problem space. And as you can see, it's asking you to answer these questions about your business and your product. Now, if you don't know, or if you don't have any, like if you don't have this or you're not sure what it is, you could, like, for example, if you don't know where they currently experience their pain, you could just say, I'm not sure, give me some suggestions for what could be a pain or how this works, or I really don't know, I would like you to help me answer this question, anything like that. So once you have the answers, it will ask you, like when it has the answers from you, it will ask you, are you happy with what it's created for you so far? And then you will move on to step 2. And then you'll do the same thing for step 2 and the same for step 3. And I think this one goes all the way through to step 6. So what you're going to be working through is defining the problem space, the triggers, the action, the variable rewards, the investment, and then it will pull everything together and finalize a hook cycle for you. Now, is everybody cool with that? Everybody understand what we're doing? And we're all okay with that?
Michelle, sorry, I'm
Mhm.
slow on this one. So what we generated before with that first prompt, we're
Yep.
copy and pasting all of that, putting it into the
No,
chat,
no. You're
No.
going back to the Google document
right?
and you're grabbing the second prompt,
Right.
which is the apply prompt,
Right.
and you're putting it back, you're putting it into the same chat as the first prompt.
Right.
Okay,
Thank you.
pleasure. Now, let me know if anybody's stuck or they're not sure what to do. So, Nick, I'm thinking it's 3 minutes. So, Tabitha, hang on from step 1. Yeah, we're continuing on the chat that we had before. So this prompt goes in underneath the first response that you just read through before. Does that make sense, Tabitha? Good. Okay, so how about we check in at 10 past 7 and see how everyone's going. I will actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop share so I can see everybody. And then if you have any questions, or you've got your hand up and I haven't seen you, just pop something into the chat or just unmute yourself and let me know. And then we will come back together as a group at 10 past 7. And then I'm going to be asking people if they would be willing to share what they've created. So in the meantime, I am actually just going to turn my camera off, but I will be here if you have any questions. Okay, everyone. How I can still see people working diligently away, so I hate to tear you away because you're probably all in mid-thought. Mary, I'm not sure about the answer to your question. I've not had that happen before, so I would have to check. I'd probably ask ChatGPT, to be honest, but let me check into that and I will let you know.
Michelle,
Yes.
I did step 1. It's now asking to proceed for step 2. Just keep proceeding through.
Yes.
I think the answer there for Mary is you can't upload the document. Yeah, you can't copy the link. You've actually got to just highlight the text and copy the text and paste it into DeepSeek, and it should work.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
That's
of.
that's what I did.
Oh, that's what you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
that comes up.
Maybe the prompt is too long. There might be a limit on the length of the prompt that you can do, so you might have to break it into 2.
Okay, I'll try that.
Okay, cool. So I can see some people still working away, but like we are on a time limit. So I was hoping that we would get some input from people along the lines of when you were working through this type of exercise, what was the biggest insight that you got? Was there anything that surprised you about how the AI could help you? And has anybody created something to the point where they think they might actually implement it tomorrow? So is anyone brave enough to go first? Because I'm like a teacher. If no one puts their hand up, I'm going to call on someone. Going once, going twice. Who's going to be my first volunteer? Don't leave me hanging on a limb here, guys. Come on.
I'll volunteer. I'm happy to volunteer.
Thank you, Leanne.
That's all right. The process is amazing. I actually haven't got very far, but I think it's from the 1,000 words. I'm not that quick a reader, obviously, because I didn't read that in the time that we had allowed, but it sounded really good what I got.
Yeah.
And my ChatGPT knows me really well because we've been working together since 2023. And yeah, well, I'm about to choose a name for him or her as well. So I haven't decided on its sex yet, but it'll be the one that feels the most confident.
Yeah.
But step 1 was really good because I didn't know the answer to the pain points. And that's been something that's really been stretching me to think about. And putting in the prompt that you said where I wasn't really sure, it came up with some really good answers. So that was really fascinating. And now I'm just on step 2 with the triggers.
Okay, cool. Because as I say to people, you can't break this. It doesn't matter. Like there's no right or wrong. If you don't like the answer, you can just keep asking it questions until you get to something. But I do find having somebody who can offer me suggestions and I'm not starting from a blank page is really, really helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I'm going to have fun working through all of these. I don't think it'll get done in this few minutes that we've got. But yeah, I'm really, really, yeah, what you've done is really amazing. I'm really thrilled with it.
Good, I'm glad. Anybody else would like to tell us how they went?
Hey, it's Steve.
Yeah.
I'm still going through, but it's amazing the structure. I was having a conversation with a colleague earlier this morning, and the one that was talking about the personas, and she's actually getting mentored at the moment because this is the sort of stuff that she gets stuck on. She kind of knows what to do, but loses it. And just those 2 steps you gave us, it's just amazing what it's coming back with. Really good.
Good. Well, when you finish, I'd like everybody to let us know somehow or other in the group or respond back. But yeah, do let us know when you finish if you're happy with what you've created, because that's the other thing too. It's it's not just about creating an output, it's having the knowledge and expertise to understand, is that good output for me and is that going to work well for my business? Who else is going to be a brave soul? I'm like, shall I pick on Nick? Because he's normally picking on everyone else.
On me. Yes, I'm up to step 3, I think, in this now, the action. But all of the output of it has been very accurate, and I think so in part because I have a pretty good idea as to what the the issues and the problems and the pain points that people are, so I can articulate those. And I think being able to articulate it quite clearly helps the output of ChatGPT to really give some very good response. So I've found for this particular one, it really is on the money for what it is that people want.
Good. And I was going to say, because I raced through it and I did it in 10 minutes, but then I'm a bit like you. I just had the answers and I just went really short answers just so that I could make sure that if anything went wrong, I had something to show you guys today. Was it you, Daniel, at the start said that this was quite timely? Did you get out of this what you were looking for?
Sorry, I was just out of the screen, had to get my volume, my mute button off. Yeah, this is great. So I haven't gone all the way through. I think I'm up to step 4, but it's certainly given me some good foundational stuff.
Were you surprised?
I've learned not to be surprised by ChatGPT. So no, I mean, sorry. I'm absolutely impressed with it. Not surprised by it. So
good.
I can
And
make
the thing
distinction.
Yeah, you've got the prompts now, so you can go back and rerun this again, in another, like finish it tonight, but you can rerun it again in a month or 2 months, or if you get better insights into your customers or you get different feedback, you can always come back to it and redo it.
Yeah, I think in my prompts I put nearly every customer that I service, which is quite broad. So I was sort of thinking I'd probably be best targeting like a niche.
Yeah. Do one for each niche, and then each one will be really specific.
Yeah, terrific. Thank you.
Pleasure. Is that enough discussion for everyone? Shall we hand back to Nick now, or would anybody else like to contribute? Thank you, Colin.
Yes, I actually decided a couple of weeks ago to do a second edition of my business book. So I gave it to ChatGPT and it was a disaster. It couldn't handle the whole book. So I decided to do it in chapters. And I said that I didn't want it edited. I just wanted grammar, syntax, that sort of stuff, spelling mistakes fixed. And I would send it 4,500 words and I get 1,500 back. And I had an actual argument with ChatGPT.
Don't worry,
Please don't take anything out, because it's my book and it's written in my way with my anecdotes. It just wants to write something that's got all the facts in it. I don't want to write about facts. I want to write about other stuff. So I actually gave up on chat. So
can I give you a clue?
Yeah.
Go into one of the reasoning models, O3, explain what you want to do just in your own words, and then ask it to give you the prompt that you need to enter to get the output that you want.
I did do that. I'm on 3. I paid for it so that I could get an upgraded version.
But did you create a new prompt and then run that prompt?
Yeah, I asked it. I said, what do you want from me so that you remember to do this the next time? And it says, I don't have a memory. So
that's not what I'm getting at, Colin, is that to actually do what you wanted to do, you need quite specific instructions to it. So what you need to do is ask ChatGPT to create the prompt for you. Then you copy that prompt into a new chat, and then you should get a lot better output.
No, I've given up. I'm doing all my
Okay.
own thing
All right.
now.
I'll stop giving out all my deep dark secrets then.
Okay.
Actually, one thing, Colin, that is probably helpful for this as well too, is working in small chunks. So if
Yeah.
you've got your whole book, it is going to struggle with it. And I've had exactly the same issues that you're having as well. But when you work through it, chunk by chunk, page by page, or maybe so 5 pages, then you tend to you're building up a better result.
Yeah. Well, I've got the big book to do. I was only using that book as a tester. It's only 100 and odd pages. The other one is 180,000 words. So you might see me with a beard and a walking cane the next day.
Michelle, I've been using it on I have an addiction recovery centre, and I've just been using the prompt on developing or helping me to position a through care program for guys that actually are clients of ours in prison and when they come out into the community. So I'm up to step 4, but I've found it's really great that the questions that it asks to get you thinking about and getting more clarity on things. And I find that that's actually one of the most powerful things in these types of processes, where it just gets you a little bit more understanding what it is that you're actually trying to promote or talk about.
It's almost, in some ways, it's almost like a coach, because it's drawing out all of the stuff that you have and then presenting it back to you and saying, is this right? So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. Thank you for sharing that.
Pleasure.
So can I just ask, this prompt that you've created, like how did you create that prompt to begin with? Did you actually ask ChatGPT to create the prompt?
No, that was part of a training that I did last year about how to do these sort of things.
Okay.
Yeah. But you could ask ChatGPT to create something, or you could put that prompt in and say, if I wanted to do something on a different book, what would I need to put in so you could give me a prompt so I could look at a different book? Again, I'm giving you away all my secrets. But I mean, that's the way, use what you've got. And often when you give examples, or you say, this is what I'm looking for, and I want this format and I want this structure, but I want you to base it on something else. And then it'll put that in, but it'll give you the format that you're looking for.
Right, thank you.
Okay, I don't know how much more time I think we've only got 5 minutes
I've
or so.
got a couple more minutes. If anyone's got comments, questions, now's your time to ask.
I saw Paul having a glass of wine.
Yes, that wasn't a question. That was just an astute observation.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Fred's got one too. I feel left out now. Well, if nobody else has any comments or questions or shares, Paul's taking himself off mute. That could be a signal.
No, not at all. And thank you, Michelle. To be honest, the reason I come along here on a Tuesday night is so I can have a glass of wine with Nick. That's my reason for being here.
Oh, I thought it was me.
Yes, every other night.
And I'd like to join Paul with a glass of wine, but all I've got is my whiskey, which in fact is tap juice.
Okay, well, I'll say that's it for me then, folks. And I will.
Any suggestions, Michelle, with the work you've done, which this has been great actually. For me, it's been awesome. I love this stuff, and the framework is it's such a good way with this prompt to get out the information that's going to be usable and going to be helpful. So this is answered some of the questions I already had with the program that we're about to put out. So thank you. But any sort of tips, hints, or closing thoughts about where to go to next with this?
With
the teaching you've given us today, where can we take it?
Okay, well, obviously I would like to see everybody implement it, but also, as Daniel said, he started off quite broad, but you could like niche into different areas, or you could use it if you're thinking about creating a new product and you wanted to get some insights into how you could develop that product, because when you're walking through, it does help you structure the ideas of what you can do with your product and how you can do it. And then I would also then encourage you to explore other ways, like when you're trying to problem solve, even if you don't have a prompt like I've just given you, you can, as we talked about earlier, I think it was Steve who mentioned about personas. If you are trying to solve a marketing issue, you can say things like, okay, what would be the top 5 marketing experts in the world who could help me with this issue and why? And then you would get that input and you can create that and put that in, so that then you're not just trying to like come up with ideas yourself or assess what ChatGPT is giving you. You can actually, start to draw on expert knowledge, but do it in a way that is supporting the problem or the issue or the question that you've got.
And
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
I worked with a lady, I don't know if you know Linda Reed Enever, but I've been working with her for a while now. And when ChatGPT first came in, we did a create your brand tone and voice. And then we imported that into ChatGPT. And then as one of the things that she said to do was, as a marketing strategist, I'm this person and this is my brand tone, this is my brand voice, create a marketing plan, that sort of stuff in it. So sometimes I think ChatGPT knows me better than I know myself.
Sometimes it surprises me because it'll give me an answer and it'll refer to something that was in a chat from last week, or somebody's name that or something that we were doing, and I'm like, that's right. Yeah.
Well, that's what happened with this, because I put in from what you know about the work from me, from the work we've done together over the last couple of years, and we've been working on a thing the last couple of weeks, and it actually put that into the answer it gave me.
And the thing to be aware of too is ChatGPT has been trained on so much information that if you think about your industry, who are the influencers that you look up to, or you have learnt from, or that you follow, the books that you've read, and running through this using that same prompt or a similar sort of prompt that Michelle's given us here, you can really sort of craft some very on point output out of it as well too, which is exactly what you're probably looking for. Fred.
Yeah, Nick. Yeah, look, I'm a heavy user of ChatGPT and love it. I use it daily. And one of the things I do when I ask it to come up with an idea for a post, for example, I'll ask it to redo it in the voice of, say, Frank Kern or Russell Brunson or Alex Hormozi, and usually get 4 or 5 different renditions. And then I'll ask it to compile it as a compilation of putting all of those things together, and then obviously review it before I post it. But suddenly you end up with multiple choices. You go, oh shit, I like that one. I'll just post it straight away because it's great, So, and because it knows how these people write, how they type, how they speak, how they inflect on things, and you can embed that into your conversations too, just by simply asking it to do it.
Well, you'll notice in the prompts tonight, Fred, in the first one down the bottom, it does say write in the style and tone of, I forget his name now, and you can change that as well in the prompt that I've given you.
Yeah, no, I didn't actually read the prompt. I just grabbed it and typed it and put my stuff in. But the results I've got back, I'm going, geez, I've got to spend the next couple of hours going through all of that and just grabbing snippets out of it, because really great presentation, Michelle. I've learned shitloads tonight. So thank you.
Thank you.
Fabulous. Excellent. Well, look, that is all we've got time for tonight. So if people do want to sort of get in touch with you, Michelle, what's the best way to do?
I might just put, I was going to say, shall I just put my LinkedIn profile? Actually, I'll just put my email address in the chat. And there was a prize as well, Nick.
There is. We do have a prize. Well, actually, you've got the prize. And and we have our special way of drawing it all. So do not disappear right now. You need to be in the room to win it. But yeah, just tell us what the...
Arena's already done it for me. Thank you.
Yeah, just tell us what the prize is.
The prize is a session with me, a 45-minute session, and we will go through a specific issue that you're facing, or we can break down what your role looks like and where AI could best help you in your role.
Fabulous. Excellent. So, well, let's bring up our wheel of names, and we'll spin the wheel for one lucky winner. You have to be in the room, and if you're not, then we just redraw it. All right, let's spin that wheel. And give us a virtual drum roll as it's coming around. And our lucky winner is Bruce Kennedy. Woo-hoo! Now, Bruce, are you still here? Is he here?
I don't think so.
I'm looking for Bruce.
Yes, he is. He's done.
Oh, he is there. He is there.
He's there. He's just not got his camera or his mic on.
He may have stepped away from the microphone temporarily. Well, he technically is still in the room. So Bruce Kennedy, actually, this is perfect for Bruce as well too. He has, we've spoken about ChatGPT sort of a number of times as well too. So I will connect you, or we will connect you and Bruce together tomorrow by email, and then you can work out a time that mutually suits you.
Yep.
Fabulous. So let's give Michelle a huge round of applause. Thank you very much for tonight. It was a different session, and a workshop style like this has been excellent. So I've learned a whole lot tonight, which has been fabulous. So thank you.
My pleasure.
I can't work out how to download the chat because the little 3 dots aren't on my screen. Can you help me, please?
Are they not? They're not up on the top right-hand side of the chat?
No, I got a pop-out box and a cross.
And to the left of that pop-out box should be the 3 dots, but you can't see it?
No.
All right, I'll tell you what, I can organise to send that through to you.
Thank you.
So I will, so I'll get that organised. Lorena and JM who are here, can you just grab a note of that and shoot that out for tomorrow? If you've enjoyed it, it will be up on YouTube tomorrow. So if you want to watch it again and so follow through some of the bits you might have missed, it will be up on the Smashco YouTube channel tomorrow. The link for that is in the chat, which you can save, but we'll send that through to you, Leanne, since you can't save it. And if you know anyone else that will benefit from this as well too, then feel free to share that with them. Oh, look at that. Fred's got balloons going over his screen. I love that.
That was really good. Thank you, Michelle.
We'll be back here again next week with another topic as well. In fact, I think next week is Steve Brossman, if I have it right. So if you haven't heard from Steve, he's another excellent presenter, so he'll be here next week. So look out in your emails for all social media for that topic as well too. All right. Well, once again, thanks, Michelle, and thanks everyone for coming along.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys, for having me.
See you all next week.